come on in and curry on down, snuggle on in, and welcome to another episode of Hot Chocolate Magic. Sorry, October Hoog. This week we are on covers, and I made my hot chocolate slightly different this week. I've given it some froth on the top, and that's just a case of using your frother for your fancy coffees with a bit of milk, and then putting that on top when you're doing your milk. But anyway, oh, it's really good today. It's really good today because that froth is just like chocolatey whipped cream and marshmallows. I need to get on. Have you seen everybody else's covers videos yet? This is covers week. Huh. Well, you're going to see mine today. Kinda. Full disclosure. This is Monday the 14th and this video goes out on Wednesday the 16th. I haven't finished my signatures yet. I haven't finished the ephemera yet. And there's things I can't do until I bind it. So to do the covers, I've had to bind one of my signatures, even though it's not really finished, to make sure I've got my covers the right size. This is definitely not the journal to be doing in a really structured make. If you want to do this journal, I hope you try doing it because it's great fun. However, don't try and do it in the structured way I'm having to do it for this collab. You need to just do it as you go along, and if it's time to do the binding, do the binding. You really need to do the binding in the signature stage, but we'll talk more about that next week when I actually get to talk about the binding. Remember, if you want to enter the draw, it's a draw. It's a free giveaway. It's not a competition. You need to comment, that's all. Comment on all my 4 videos and comment on everybody else's 4 videos. You need to do all that commenting to get one draw entry. And then if you want another draw entry, you can put a finished journal in Creative Paper Artisan or Crafty Dragon Creations Facebook page, and that will give you another entry into the drawing. I believe there's some fabulous prizes. I don't know what all the prizes might or might not be. I think there's some digital kits. I know there's a couple of notebooks. Not sure what else there is. But if you want to be in that draw with lovely prizes, then you need to comment. Now I've finished my marshmallow, shall we get on? This video is not going to be very long today, but I'll start by showing you the freebies yet once again. This is mine. And you can find mine over on my Ko-fi site. This is mine from Stacy. This one is from Stacy from the Sunday giveaway. So this is Stacy's from herself kind of thing. And I've actually used that in a slightly different way. Here we go. It's in here. I'm not going to show you anything else. I'm just going to show you this. So this is what you get as a free journal. And what I've done is I've used it in this journal signature and just made it into a little folder for the pockets. You saw me making these pockets last week, but you didn't see where I'd put them in. And it's got a couple of those stencil leaves, a mushroom from the mushroom page. I cut out mushrooms from that mushroom page to use as thing. I've put a bit of antique Nouveau round the foxy, put in a bit lace. This was supposed to be green, but I don't know. It's clearly not green. So it's all right because you can just about see it. It's on that really bright page. Then I've just made a wee band for it that sits in nice and snugly. Oops, it would sit in nice and snugly if all my leaves weren't getting in the way. Sits in nice and snugly, and the band was made from the loaded tag that Karin gave you for Ephemera Week. I just took the full length of that and then folded it over, put another bit of this lace on, put a mushroom cut out from the mushroom kit on just to decorate that. This I dyed for something you'll see shortly. Let's get back to the covers. Well, that wasn't leaving the covers, but it was a wee detour. This is another of Karin's. This is another of these leaf backgrounds. I do love these backgrounds. I love this edge around here. What I've decided to do is I've decided to use 3 covers for one for each of my signatures. So I've got this one, and this one. Now this one's mine, and this one doesn't have anything on here, so that's wonderful. This one, I have no idea who this one is. I've got a sneaking idea, but I might be wrong, so I don't want to say when. This one's got autumn on, so I quite like that. This one was the one that that actually has journal on it, but I've removed journal. That was very naughty of me, but I removed journal because I didn't want journal, because this is covers for my signatures and I didn't want journal on it. I could have just put something over the top of it, but I didn't want to do that because we're going to work with this one today because of what I'm going to do. Oh, I should have shown you. On the other side of these, I have printed one of the free journaling pages. So these are all free pages from Signatures Week. So I've used that one, I've used that one, and I've used this one. This is the one signature I have got in a state where it could get a cover. So this, just to show you, I've printed this. I've done countless maths to make this print on a full page like that. But you can see, because of the way I'm doing the binding, which I'll tell you about next week, some of it's sticking out. So what I'm going to do, I've got this reel of, yes, it came from a famous Swedish store, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach that. It's ribbon that I just feel it kind of goes with the whole nature of this journal, and the fact that there's something hanging over the edge of the page I really like. I did consider putting more leaves on, but I thought more leaves was going to be overkill. And then I considered putting lace on, but I decided that was going to be too fluffy, too soft. And then I considered, I have this trim, which you'll see in a wee bit anyway. And I did consider putting that, but I decided that was going to be too strong colour-wise. But this, I decided, was perfect. So we're going to put that as a trim on. I'm going to take this back out again because we don't want that in the way. And then we have number for the front. Remember, I made this in, see, this could have waited to this week, and it made this, well, it is what we are. We've made that in Ephemera Week. I could have made it this week, didn't, made it in Ephemera Week, bad me. And then just another bit, this is a bit of this ribbon I already had cut off, and just putting another bit of ribbon behind that and put that on there. And I'm going to do exactly the same with all the other covers. I'm going to put a bit of ribbon with the number of the signature on the front, trim both front and back with this ribbon, and also every signature is going to get an inside pocket. At least one of the signatures, the inside pocket, is going to be in the back. Actually, I'm just wondering whether I should put this one on the back, because it will be the final signature and it might make more sense this pocket being in the back. So I am going to put this on the back. I was going to put it in the front, but I've just decided I'm going to put it in the back. And you saw me you saw me talk about this bit. I did decide not to do any more of the golding. It was already mounted on a bit of book page, but I've mounted it on a further bit of card just to give it some strength. Put some of that trim, and I'm going to put that on there. So we've got a pocket there, and I know it doesn't have a notch. It doesn't have a notch for a reason. I have debated long and hard about whether to put a notch in this one or not, and I decided I didn't want to spoil the line of it. I like the line of it because going on this page as it is, you've got that line of that there. Anything going in this pocket will be something that's quite large, so it will just slide in and be there. It won't need to come in and out. You're going to understand better why I'm doing things the way I am doing it in this journal once you see the final flip through. This is a journal I'm going to be using for myself. I'm just putting a wee bit more, because what I didn't do was colour. The napkin only goes that far, but I needed it wider, so that's why I put it on this back of card as well, so that I had place. But stupidly, I didn't decorate that white behind before doing that. So that's going to go on there. And actually, I've just had a thought that putting that ribbon inside that rather than on the outside might be an idea of where this pocket, or I could do it regardless, couldn't I? It's a shame this ribbon isn't decorated both sides. See, I got everything together so that I would just go for it, and the squirrels are back again saying, well, you could just put it on the inside, Kirstin, and then you put that pocket and that holds it all nicely in place, and it just gives a nice bit to that pocket, because oh well, see, it'll be that way around, won't it? Oh, see, now I'm thinking I need to print something on this, the other side of this ribbon as well, because otherwise that's going to look pretty boring. Right, first job, printed on ribbon. Let's take that out. Let's bring that back again. Let's take a wee bit more than we need, times 2. Now, if you have, as you see, I've just decided to do this. There's no forward planning in this at all. So, if you want to do this, what you need to do is you need to have something you can stamp on for a start. Let me just get a bit of Tom Sawyer. Let me just check it's a bit Tom Sawyer that's... you'd think Tom Sawyer would be safe, but there was words said in Tom Sawyer that actually aren't acceptable any longer. That looks okay. Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my... Oh, now there's 2 ways I could do this. I could do... I thought I had all these here. Here, they're here. I could do a big stamp that covered most of it, or I could do lots of little stamps. And what I'm tempted to do is lots of little stamps. I might change my mind when I get bored of doing that with some of the others. In fact, there's no reason why I need to do all the stamping for these 3 signatures the same. I'm not about being bored at all, it's just ringing the changes. So let me start with this one, and I'm just going to go along and stamp You need to make sure you're using permanent ink. Otherwise, well, you don't really, I suppose. Doesn't matter if it goes off the page. You want to make sure this is a... I'll get away with it on this, but if you're ever stamping on fabric, you need to make sure it's not got a protected cover coating on of any kind. Let's move on to the next one, and let's move on to the next colour. If it has a protective coating on, then it might not accept a stamp. That one was that way, so let's do this one this way. You say they're going off the page because they're a bit big, but that's okay, because I'm just trying to get a bit of interest. That one. I'll move on to the next one. How are you getting on with your journals? Are you still on signatures like me? Are you racing ahead and already binding it? Have you had some fabulous ideas that we've not had? If so, love to see them. Love to see them. Ah, now that one's very peely-welly. Let's get a Betty green for some green, because I think it's nice to have a wee bit of green. Let's use Olive Grove instead, and I'm quite happy just to stamp over that because that's really not showing at all. That's better because it's a kind of muddy green, that olive green. Maybe just keep that one out anyway, rather than the pistachio. So I now need to decide whether I'm going to put this on the inside or this on the inside, or this on the outside, or this on the... I think I'm tempted to put this on the outside. I'm going to stick it to the outside and put this on the outside so that you see most of that. It doesn't matter if you don't see all of that, but there is a wee bit of interest in what you do see. Or do I do it the other way around? Do I do it that way around? And then there is a wee interest in the leaves of what you do. Oh, see, actually I quite like that, the fact that the leaves are peeking out. And then that's actually more part decoration then, isn't it? Yeah, I think we're going to do it that way around. Right. So let's just cut this in half so that I can stick it on. Actually, I'm going to cut it shorter than half because there's a bit there that's very plain. So let's cut it shorter than half, but it'll still be long enough. Okay, and what did I decide I was going to do? I was going to stick it on the outside, didn't I? So which bit do I want seeing there? See, I could did that around the other way. Yes, I like that. I like that. So let's put a line of glue down here. There we go. good on this particular page because I've got that darker edge that I can use as a guide to how much is hanging over. Let's do the other side. I'm just going to wipe off that bit of glue in case it gets stuck to something. My leaves are encroaching on me today. I didn't move them out of the way like I normally do, did I? Which way up do I want this one? That way up, I think. Yeah. I'm going to have a wee drink of hot chocolate. I haven't even got my hot chocolate out of the way today. The other collaborators were asking how I made my hot chocolate, and so I'm going to tell the rest of you as well. Use whatever milk you want. Your favourite milk, you can use it. Heat it up very slowly on a low heat so you don't scald it. If you're using a nut milk, be careful because it will catch if you're not careful. But if you use nut milk all the time, then you'll already know that. So you heat that up in a pan, then add, there are other chocolates available, but I use 70% Lindt dark chocolate, and I use 2 squares, and 2 squares of that in about, well, just shy, it's about 1/3 of a pint of milk, I suppose. Creates a nice chocolatey taste for my palate. You might want to experiment with the chocolatey taste. The thing is, there's no sugar, unless you have a sweetened milk, there's no sugar in it at all. Somebody is going to use vanilla almond milk. I don't know what vanilla almond milk is, we just have almond milk. I'm going to try and make almond milk because somebody else has said you can make your own almond milk, and I've always bought almond milk because hot chocolate is gorgeous with almond milk if you like almond milk and if you're not allergic to almonds. I'm just now trimming off the edges. Then once your milk is warm, don't let it get overheated. Put your 2 squares of chocolate in and keep stirring until the chocolate's melted. Now the good thing about using the Lindt chocolate is it's thin. Good quality chocolate. It's not going to give you a kind of graininess in your chocolate. It's not going to split and give you fat floating on your chocolate. But you use whatever chocolate you want to use. If you use a milk chocolate or a candy substitute type chocolate, you're not going to get the same effect as having it with real chocolate. That's looking good, isn't it? Well, I think it is. I think it is. I'm going to put this inside pocket on as well. And you just keep stirring and stirring and stirring as that chocolate melts. And once the chocolate has melted, put it in your pot. If you've got one of those frothers you can put in your pan, froth it at that stage if you want a frothy top. If you have to froth your chocolate, your milk separately, depending on how it's done, you need to go with what your manufacturers say. You could put the chocolate in, if it's one that doesn't mess about with steam and stuff, then you could probably put your hot chocolate in it. But if it's one that does have steam, then you probably want to put milk in and do milk separately and then put milk on the top if you want some. You can always put cream on it. I don't tend to put cream on it, but you could put cream on it if you wanted on the top. You could also, if you wanted, put more chocolate on the top. You can put your marshmallows on the top. You don't need to put marshmallows on the top. There we go. See, we've got that pocket on there. We've got that. Oh, I should maybe have done this first, but never mind. Let's get that the right side. But that's basically it. It's very simple to do. Keep that bit for something. That's the right length, isn't it? Yeah, I want to try and fray it. This is hard to fray because of the way it's been made. But there we go, I've got some of it off. But it's very simple to do, and it really is, for me at least, it's a real hook moment, because you've got that whole toasty feeling of you're spoiling yourself, and it's warm and toasty and precious, and it's finally become very autumnal here. We've got we had our first frost of the year yesterday, Sunday. First frost of the year, well, apart from the frosts in January and February. First frost of this current seasonal change, which always, I kind of quite like a frost, as long as I'm not having to, as long as it's not icy and I don't have to actually go out in it. A frost as opposed to icy. I can't get this to fray any further because of the if I get a needle into it. Oh, only I don't have a needle there. Let's just see if I can get the tip of my, there we go. I just wanted another 2 strands off it. There we are. Let's just stick that down. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something else. I've still got my pens out here. This is one of my zig pens in sand, because I'm thinking that's going to go quite well with that. And I'm just going to try and, I don't think I do like it actually. It needs something else behind it, so I'm going to have to find a bit of something else to put behind it. Let's put that in the bin. Let's bring back my, here they are. Oh, well, I'm saying here they are, and straight away I'm thinking I could use a bit of that behind it, couldn't I? Although that might still be quite well. And then if I put the ribbon on top, I'm going to bring the ribbon back. Now see, I think the ribbon kind of will disappear behind that, won't it? Oh, I could use a bit of, let's have a look. We're doing covers. Let's try and use something from the covers, Kirstin. I could use it, well, that's not going to go with the what's already there, because I've got to remember what's already on this page as well, so that it kind of at least has some kind of, oh, no, there's a thought. Right, this is the original page. What I could do is I could just cut a banner of this. Actually, and now I'm thinking I wish I'd torn that rather than cut it. So let's see, I've just seen you've got a medallion down there to use somewhere as well. Let's tear that rather than cut it. So let's have, I don't necessarily want, I just want the, oh, I could try and, let's try and get these pine cones, shall we? Because they're still going to look like pine cones. But it will look like pine cones in a kind of abstracty way, because you're not going to get them all. So that, I should have measured that, shouldn't I? Oh, yes, that's going to be perfect. So let's just take off, oops, make sure I do the right way, take off that bit and take off that bit. Right, and just put that in there, and then cut another bit of ribbon that's going to fit on top of that. So to that point there, and here we go, got to fray it again. There we go. And so I'm going to make another 2 of those off camera, and you'll see them when I do my final flip through for the other two signatures. But this cover would also work for your full journal if you wanted. I'm just using these as the signature covers because of the nature of my pages. I want them to be gathered together before they go in the binder, because I'm going to be, okay, so that goes in there. Now you haven't got the pages, they're sticking out a bit at the bottom, but I'm not bothered about them sticking out the bottom. It was coming out the side. I just like to neaten that up. So that's a signature of my journal, and I'll have 3 of these, and then they're going to go in a binder, and you'll see more about the binder next week when we're binding. But for now, okay. This is I'm showing you, this is the bit of cloth I had laced all the way around, and I dyed it because I needed a bit of, this is very old, you can see it's wearing through, it'll need to be doubled. I needed a bit of cloth, that kind of colour, for part of the binding, for my spine of the binding. And I've got these book covers, which were just off a modern book, but they were nice strong covers, kind of like this, and I thought I might use that as a cover in itself, and then I thought, no you won't, Kirstin, so don't even bother. And I have this fabulous foxy material. So this foxy material is going to go over my cover. I haven't decided yet what's going in the inside. I will probably use, I might use one of the, you know, like one of these pages. This obviously isn't big enough, so I'd need to print something that side to go on that. So maybe I won't use one of those pages. Oh, it might be big enough by the time I've taken that up and that up. Well, I don't know. Yeah, be close. I need to do them anyway. But this is just a case of putting on PVA, sticking them down, mitering your corners, bringing them up and round. So I'm not going to show you how to do that. So I've got 1 cover finished, 2 more to do, and they're all going to be very similar in the way that I do them, so I don't think you need to see them. But now, thank you so much for watching. Remember to go and check everybody else. Remember, the kits are still on offer, 30% off until the end of the month. That's both kits, both It's For Y'all and Cozy Woodland. They're both 30% off to the end of the month. Go along and buy them. Just because I'm using the freebies doesn't mean to say you can just use the freebies. Of course you can if you want, but you can also buy the kits if you want to buy the kits. Until next week, you take care. Bye for now.